r/ask Reddit. What is a fact that people just straight up can't accept? The problem may actually be you. No you. Comma. Being nice to someone won't guarantee the same in return. Truth. Also, at least one person you know irrationally dislikes you. Open bracket. The general you. Not you specifically. Good Redditor. No, him specifically. Let's not mince words here. Using your phone while driving is a bad idea. It wasn't until I moved jobs to one in the center of the city that this really struck me. People can't even walk slowly and pay attention while on the phone. The idea that these same people would try to drive and use a phone at the same time is terrifying. Recently cycling to work, a guy was standing on the path talking on his phone looking right at me as I approached for maybe 30 seconds. Just I passed him at 25 km/h. He stepped across right in front of me. I had to swerve out into car traffic to miss him. People can't even stand safely while talking on their phone. An opinion is different to a fact. And just because you really believe something still doesn't make it true. I argued with my cousin about this until he ended up blocking me on Facebook. He just couldn't grasp the concept of objective versus subjective. Some things in life are just objectively true and your belief just doesn't matter. Nice people are not exclusively one race, religion, or political affiliation. Same for a-holes. Never understood how people can accept we all bleed red and take a shit. But politeness is only for some people. I'm Asian and my boyfriend is white, and he was very surprised when I told him about the racist jokes my teenage nephew made about black people. It seriously never occurred to him that a minority can also be racist and that being poor and Asian, or any other color, doesn't equal enlightenment or depth of character. I was at a bus terminal in a shifty area of town and I had two black guys make racist and idiotic comments as I was walking past. Look at this SPC and his blah blah. It's whatever and I didn't care much, but the comment that got me was comments about me having a bag and living out it or some stupid shit. We're at a ducking bus terminal. It'd be odd for me not to have a bag. Also I'm dressed fairly well. Have a ticket for the bus and a phone on me. I don't know about you but the chances I'm homeless are super ducking low. You pretty much need like a quarter of the laundry detergent you're using. I cannot cut a pod in half unless I use my teeth. And that's how it all got started. Damn, the blow part is pretty tasty. That people having a different opinion than you do may not necessarily mean that they are bad people. I agree. But opinions are for stuff like what music is good and what condiment goes on french fries, or maybe so far as like how we should spend our tax dollars. Not whether or not gay people should have rights or the gun violence in our country is fine. Some opinions are bad and wrong, and the people who hold them need to change. I am gay, and I don't need to entertain homophobic Aunt Karen's ideas as though they have validity. On the flip side, claiming Jews need to be exterminated or that black people should be killed isn't just an opinion that deserves to be respected alongside everyone else. Some people's opinions do make them horribly bad people. That bad things can happen to you for no reason. At some point in your life something bad will happen to you no matter what. Finger guns already happened. Loser. Those who think they know better than trained and skilled professionals with first-hand knowledge don't know as much as they think they do and should shut the duck up regarding said things they don't actually know much about. There was a study into this very thing. People usually overestimate their knowledge in topics they actually don't know much about. Then there's also an example of perceived skill. Most drivers think they are better than most others. How can that work if they all think they are the best? It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Learn how to say I don't know. You don't have to know the answer to everything. Conversely, learn to accept I don't know as an answer. I actually have more respect for bosses or supervisors who say I don't know. I'll look into it and get back to you when asked a question they don't. If they actually follow through. Nobody needs to know everything. People are unreliable narrators. I'm not often there, but I always think of this when I see posts on Am I the A-hole? Like if they say something like I calmly explained to them that, or whenever they say what the other party said, I try to remember that they are advocating for themselves even if they are trying to be fair. I condescendingly talked down to them and implied they were an idiot, and they start acting like I'm the a-hole. Almost all people are capable of tremendous good and tremendous evil irrespective of their race, culture, political affiliations or religion. I hate this. Generalizing a whole group of people because of one person. It's like saying every fruit is bad because you don't like grapes. Just what are you saying about grapes? Do you think they choose to be grapes? They have every right as a fruit to be treated with respect and equal to all other fruits. Just because they are small and round and like to cluster together doesn't make them a bad fruit. Don't post your xenophobic comments here. Just because something isn't impacting your life doesn't mean it isn't impacting someone else. Everyone is from a different background, and everyone experiences life differently. Yep, but to realize that, you have to step out of your ego and think about someone else, which most people won't do. You are not brutally honest. You are a douche. Edit. Some people are really honest. I was talking about the people that say it as an excuse for being mean. Edit 2. First Silver. Thank you very much, stranger. I actually knew a guy who was genuinely brutally honest. He was a great dude, always very caring and helpful, and when I wanted to know the truth I was confident he would give it to me. Great at giving advice and talking through problems. Never once did he tell anyone that he was brutally honest though. Your friend was probably really great at employing tact. It's a lost art these days, and it is difficult to balance giving an honest opinion bluntly without being a jerk. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. Like Dolly Parton said, you might be the ripest, juiciest peach out there, but there's still going to be people who just don't like peaches. Or something to that effect. Any person who doesn't like Dolly Parton's juicy peach is someone you don't need in your life. If you hang out shit, you smell like it. This reminds me of a funny story. I was hanging out with my friend and he was lecturing me about how shit attracts more shit, and that shitty people will just find other shitty people to hang out with. Literally less than 30 seconds later he steps in a huge pile of dog shit and I say, well, looks like you were right. Shit does attract shit. Celebrities are not God. I think most actually believe this. We just hear about the small group that don't more often. I guess so. It's just certain fan accounts that really make me wonder. As they being paid for that? You will be wrong more times in your life than you will be right. I have literally never been wrong. I was wrong only once in my life, when I thought I made a mistake. You're being passive aggressive as duck. I beg your pardon. I'm active aggressive and I'll prove it to you, silly goose. What did you call me? That free speech doesn't equal free from consequence. I've come to realize that people fundamentally don't understand what their right to free speech actually means. Everyone's so quick to cite their freedom of speech but have no clue that it means you can say what you want, barring the Freedom Act, and the government won't put you in jail. It doesn't mean that you can say what you want and your neighbor can't call you a moron if what you're saying does in fact show that you're being a moron. It's like in the last 10-15 years people have all of a sudden decided that freedom of speech means freedom of criticism, and it literally makes no sense to me. What's also interesting to me are the people that complain about Facebook censorship and cite freedom of speech. Facebook is a private entity. They can make whatever rules they want. You also are not entitled to a Facebook profile. Vaccines are safe. They help build up an immunity to diseases. Too many people don't accept this. In their view, they are more qualified than a doctor. One woman, for example, did not get any degree in health, but feels she has to make sure no one gets vaccines. She's from Samoa as well, who recently had a measles outbreak because people didn't have vaccines. There's not one doctor that is an anti-vaxxer. What does that say? I can't believe we're detesting basic science because of one idiot who said something incorrect who went back on his claims and were found to be false. The guy who said vaccines cause autism is in prison. That if you buy a $1,000 sign product for $900, you don't save $100, you spend $900. I wonder if billionaires face have to deal with this. No, Jeff. You did not save $1 million on that yacht. You spent $9 million. Unless you absolutely need it. Taking Wednesdays off is better than taking Fridays off. Go on. The earth is ducking round. Just because you can do something doesn't mean it's a good idea. Just because you are allowed to do something doesn't mean it's a good idea. Just because you are entitled to do something doesn't mean it's a good idea. You're contributing to animal abuse by eating meat and dairy. Big facts. People are too scared to look up the footage and learn the truth. I think the majority of people know. They just don't care enough to do anything about it. Nothing is permanent. What about permanent marker? If you write on a whiteboard with a permanent marker, you can draw over it with a normal whiteboard marker to make it appearable. That hitting your kid is not good. Coming from a first generation Mexican American with immigrant parents, I still have trouble with this fact, but I have to get over myself every time. I'm a psych student and all of the data all of the time has proven that hitting your kids to discipline them is simply not good. Like at all. It's hard when it's a cultural thing that's been done for ages, and especially if you grew up being hit, but the facts are facts, and it has made me seriously reconsider how I will raise my children if I have any. Edit. I learned this in my sociology, developmental psych, and child psych classes. I don't have any exact references and sources since it was something that just stuck with me in classes since it challenged my beliefs. Sorry, this was something that I replied to on impulse and don't have anything to back me up, but the research is all there if you look for it. When I say hitting, I mean using it as your main form of discipline. Like physically disciplining your child almost every day when they're being bad, instead of using other discipline like timeouts and all that jazz. All it teaches kids is that their parents are too impatient to teach them, and that it's okay to hit people when they don't do what you want them to. That other people are three-dimensional human beings with complex emotions, personalities and beliefs shaped by a lifetime of experiences. That vaccination does not cause autism. 5G does not cause cancer. That we are in a pandemic and must follow certain guidelines. A person who's an a-hole to you can be a saint to someone else. People are complicated. Their motives unclear and multifaceted. Good people do bad things and bad people do good things. Essentially, you should hold off on character judgments until you truly know a person. Waifu is not real. Yes, she is. Stop it. Yet. We're all going to die one day. I'm immortal until proven otherwise. I plan on living forever. So far, so good. All these companies that own all the data are scarier and more powerful than anything else. When it comes to metaphysical shit, nothing is black and white. Sexuality is a spectrum. Politics is a spectrum. Happiness, sadness is a spectrum. Gradients. Man, that's all life really is. That our world will never be equal. Probably, but that doesn't mean we can't work towards more equality. That's the trick with everything in the real world. Nothing will ever be ideal, but we need the ideals to drive us forward. That no one owes you anything. You are responsible for your life and happiness, and they are responsible for theirs. Not everyone is going to like you, no matter how nice you are. You're not a customer until you bought something. Drinking plenty of water is an easy way to improve your health. 5G doesn't cause coronavirus. Women can rape too. In the UK, rape is defined as penetration with a penis, so anything else is classed as sexual assault. That in this vast, endless universe, we are nothing but forgettable beings, and this makes all of us equal to each other. It doesn't matter how long it will take, but you will be forgotten one day. Even Einstein and everything he contributed will be erased. Wrapped in our delusions and mad hunt for power, we crown ourselves kings and queens by trying to squash others down beneath our feet. But we are no superiors. A false sense of superiority is inherently ingrained in humans, and it gets worse when supported by illusions of gender, religion, sexuality, nationality, race, skin color and brain power, whereas we are all in fact the same. But alas, equating self with others is something commonly seen as repulsive by humans. Well, hello there, Mr. Existential Crisis. If you eat more calories than you burn, you gain weight. Also not accepted by me, who asks myself every time I gain weight what happened, as if I don't know. Your political opponents are probably not evil incarnate. Brave viewpoints to take on Reddit. Even family can be toxic. Just because you are related doesn't mean you have to accept their toxic attitude and willingly remain in a toxic environment. Your life and your mental health are important, and you should avoid toxic people who damage that, even if they are family. That just because somebody else's feelings are different to yours, that doesn't mean that that person is sensitive or emotional or even invalid. That Reddit is a manipulative propaganda machine. There's pedos in Hollywood. You gotta work for what you want. The gender pay gap has very little to nothing to do with sexism. Edit. As expected. Here come the downvotes. For those who put knowledge over dogma. https://www.youtube.com watch v equals lrbs 537 so https://www.youtube.com watch v equals ms5 wipe 5xm vic. That Disney is more like a cult than a company. That's actually an opinion, not a fact. We should have taken drastic measures to reduce the effects of global warming. There is no such thing as business as usual if we are to change anything about it. It's probably too late already by now, though. Communism doesn't work. The Falcons blew a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. Vaccines don't cause defects or autism SMH. That they can't apologize without the sky falling down on them. That they can't always get what they want. The person you are talking to on the internet could be right and you might be wrong. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.